Some songs are just songs. They're 3 minutes of music and words. You listen, you enjoy it, you move on. But other songs, they stick with you. They have a feeling, a weight that goes beyond the melody or the lyrics on the page. You hear a certain sadness in the singer's voice, a hidden story that the music is trying to tell. And sometimes a theory emerges, a story that connects the song to a deep, personal part of the artist's life. It might not be true, it might be impossible to prove, but it feels right. It makes the song mean so much more. There is a song Elvis recorded in 1961. It's a beautiful, heartbreaking ballad. And for years, people have whispered about its true meaning. They say it's not about a lost love as it seems on the surface. They say it's a secret message, a quiet tribute to the person who was with him from the very beginning and who he lost before he ever took his first breath. His twin brother, Jesse Presley. To understand this theory, you have to go back. Way back to a two-room shack in Tupelo, Mississippi on a cold January morning in 1935. Vernon and Gladys Presley were poor. They didn't have much, but they were about to have a family. They were expecting twins. It was a difficult time in the middle of the Great Depression. A doctor was a luxury they could barely afford. Gladys was in labor for a long time. It was hard. Finally, at 4 a.m., their first son was born. They named him Jesse Garon. But he was stillborn, he never cried, he never opened his eyes. The family story says the doctor, Dr. William Robert Hunt, worked hard to save him, but there was nothing to be done. It was a tragedy that would mark the Presley family forever. About 35 minutes later, a surprise arrived. Elvis Aaron Presley. He was alive and screaming, a healthy baby boy. But he arrived in a room filled with grief. His life began at the exact moment his brother's ended. This event was not just a sad story from the past. It was the bedrock of Elvis's entire existence. Gladys, his mother, was forever haunted by the loss of Jesse. She became fiercely protective of Elvis. He was her miracle child, the one who survived. She poured all the love she had for two sons into one. Elvis grew up with this immense, focused love, but also with the shadow of the brother he never met. He felt it his whole life. He spoke about it to close friends. He felt like a part of him was always missing. He would talk to his brother in his mind. He would visit his grave. Jesse was buried in an unmarked grave in Priceville Cemetery, and it was a place Elvis returned to, a place of quiet contemplation. This feeling of being incomplete, of living for two, shaped his personality. It might explain some of his loneliness, even when surrounded by thousands of screaming fans. It might explain the deep, spiritual searching he did throughout his life. He was always looking for something. Maybe he was looking for the other half of his soul. So he carries this weight his entire life. The memory of a face he never saw. The ghost of a brother who was supposed to walk beside him. Now, fast forward to 1961. Elvis is 26 years old. He is no longer the rebellious kid who shook up the world. He's a movie star. He's just gotten out of the army. He is a global superstar, a carefully managed brand. He's in Nashville at RCA's legendary Studio B to record music for his next movie, Blue Hawaii. The Blue Hawaii soundtrack is mostly light, fun, tropical-themed music. Songs like Rock A Hula Baby and Can't Help Falling in Love. It's the sound of commercial, mainstream Elvis, polished and professional. But in the middle of these sessions, he records a handful of other tracks. One of them is a ballad, a song written by a man named Don Robertson. Don Robertson was a professional songwriter. He wrote lots of songs for lots of artists. There is no evidence that he wrote this particular song with Jesse Presley in mind. He likely wrote a universal song about heartbreak and starting over. That's what professional songwriters do. They write songs that many people can relate to, so that many artists will want to record them. On the surface, the song is about a breakup. The singer is telling his former lover that he is moving on. He is leaving the pain behind and starting a new life. It's a classic theme. But when Elvis sings it, something different happens. He doesn't sing it with anger or bitterness like a man who's been wronged. He sings it with a profound, world-weary sadness, a deep melancholy. His voice is gentle, almost like a whisper. It's not a performance for the charts. It sounds like a private conversation. It sounds like a prayer. And this is where the theory begins. People who listen closely, who know the story of Jesse, hear something else in the lyrics. They hear a different story unfolding. Let's look at the words. The song begins with a declaration. The singer says he is walking away from the blues. He's had enough of sorrow. He is starting fresh. Now think about Elvis. Think about the lifelong burden of being the surviving twin. The guilt, the sadness, the feeling of being alone. Could this be him at 26, a grown man, finally trying to make peace with that foundational tragedy? Is he saying he's going to stop living under that shadow and start living fully, for himself? He sings about having no more heartaches, no more tears. This isn't the defiant cry of someone getting over a romance. It's a soft, hopeful promise. A promise to himself. A promise, perhaps, to his mother, who never truly got over the loss of Jesse. A promise to stop carrying the family's grief and to find some joy. Then comes the most important part of the song. The lines that form the core of this theory. He sings that there will be a new him and a new you. There'll be a new me, a new you. If this is a breakup song, the new you would be his ex-lover, who will also have to move on and find a new life. It makes sense, but it feels a little strange. Why is he so concerned with her new life? The focus is usually on the singer's own journey forward, but if he is singing to Jesse, these lines take on an entirely different meaning. A much deeper meaning. There be a new me. This is Elvis, the survivor, the one who lived. He is vowing to become a new person, a person not defined by loss. A person who is whole, not just one half of a pair. And a new you. Who is this you? In this theory, it is Jesse. How can there be a new Jesse? Jesse is gone. But perhaps Elvis is talking about his memory. He is going to stop thinking of Jesse as a tragedy, as a ghost, as a source of sadness. And he is going to create a new version of his brother in his mind, a version that is a source of strength, of peace, a spiritual companion, not a painful absence. He is transforming their relationship from one of grief to one of acceptance. It's an incredibly profound and mature idea. He is reshaping his own past to build a better future. The song continues. The singer talks about starting to live and starting to give. If he's singing to his lost twin, this is powerful. He is finally going to live his life to the fullest, a life that Jesse never got the chance to have. He will live for both of them, and he will start to give. Give what? Perhaps give back the love he received. Perhaps give himself permission to be happy. He is giving up the survivor's guilt that may have plagued him for his entire life. He sings that he's found a new world, a world without the pain of the past. It's a world where he can be free. This freedom isn't just from a bad relationship. It's a freedom from a lifelong emotional weight. A freedom from being the boy whose brother died at birth. When you listen to the song with this story in your mind, it changes everything. The gentle delivery of the lines makes perfect sense. He's not singing to an ex-girlfriend he wants to forget. He's having a quiet, intimate conversation with his brother's spirit. He is sharing a moment of personal resolution. He is telling Jesse and himself that, it's going to be okay. The performance itself is key. Well, Elvis was the greatest interpreter of a song. He could take lyrics written by someone else and make them completely his own. He didn't write his own songs, but he inhabited them. He poured his own life, his own pain, his own joy into every note. When he sang a gospel song, you felt his faith. When he sang a rock and roll song, you felt his energy. And when he sang a ballad, you felt his heart. Think about the studio that day. He's surrounded by the best session musicians in Nashville. They are professionals. They are there to get a job done. They are recording songs for a lighthearted movie. And then they get the sheet music for the song. Elvis steps up to the microphone, and this comes out, this incredibly vulnerable, personal, and heartbreaking performance. Did the musicians in the room know what was happening? Probably not. Did Elvis consciously think, I am now singing this for Jesse? We can't know. It might have been subconscious. The lyrics of the song might have just unlocked something in him. The words about starting over, about a new me and a new you, may have resonated with that deep, hidden part of his soul that was always connected to his twin. That art works that way. An artist doesn't always know the source of their emotion. They just feel it, and they channel it. Elvis was a master at channeling his feelings into his voice. The lifelong sadness over Jesse was part of the well of emotion he drew from for every sad song he ever sang. It was a fundamental part of who he was. So, in a way, Jesse is in all of his ballads. But in this one song, the lyrics seem to line up so perfectly with his personal story that it feels like more than a coincidence. It feels like a confession. Now, we have to be honest. There is no proof for this theory. It is pure interpretation. The songwriter never said it was about a lost twin. Elvis never said it was about Jesse. His bandmates and friends have never, to my knowledge, confirmed this story. It lives in the realm of fan lore, a beautiful piece of speculation. The alternative explanation is much simpler, and it's probably the correct one from a factual point of view. The song is just a song. Elvis was a professional singer. He was given a well-written ballad about a breakup. He went into the studio and delivered a masterful, emotional performance, because that's what he did. He was a great actor in song, and he played the part of the heartbroken man perfectly. The sadness in his voice is just his incredible talent at work. The new you is just the ex-girlfriend. It's all on surface, no hidden meanings, no secret tributes. This is the logical explanation. The music industry is a business. Songs are products. They are recorded and sold. It's not always about deep, personal expression. Sometimes it's just about making a great record that people will want to buy. But the logical explanation isn't always the most satisfying one, and it doesn't explain the special feeling that this particular song has. It doesn't explain why this theory has persisted for so long among his most dedicated fans. It persists because it adds a layer of meaning that makes the song, and the man, even more compelling. We want to believe that our favorite artists put their true selves into their work. We want to believe that there are hidden messages and secret codes. It makes the connection between us and them feel deeper. When we listen to this song and believe it's for Jesse, we are not just listening to a pop star. We are sharing a private moment with a man who is grappling with the deepest tragedy of his life. We feel like we understand him better. It also reframes Elvis himself. In 1961, he was becoming a product. The dangerous rebel was being smoothed out for Hollywood. He was making fun, but often silly, movies. He was singing songs that were less and less connected to the raw rock and roll that made him famous. But this theory shows us that underneath the Hollywood sheen, the real, vulnerable, and sad young man from Tupelo was still there. It suggests that even in a commercial recording session, he found a way to express his deepest self. So, what is the truth? Is it a simple breakup song, beautifully sung, or is it a coded message to a lost soul? Maybe the truth is somewhere in the middle. Maybe the songwriter Don Robertson wrote a song about a breakup. But maybe Elvis, when he read the words, "There'll be a new me and a new you," saw his own story reflected back at him. Maybe in that moment at the microphone, he wasn't thinking about a fictional girlfriend. Maybe he was thinking about that tiny, unmarked grave back in Mississippi. Maybe he channeled his lifetime of feelings about Jesse into those 3 minutes of tape. So even if the song wasn't written for Jesse, it could have been sung for him. The meaning of a song isn't just in the writer's intention, it's also in the singer's interpretation and the listener's experience. For Elvis, it could have been a moment of personal catharsis. For us, the listeners, it can be a window into his soul. The beauty of this theory is that it doesn't need to be proven to be powerful. Its power lies in its possibility. It makes us listen to the song in a new way. It makes us think about the man behind the legend. The man who had everything the world could offer, but who always felt like a part of him was missing. The man who began his life with a loss that would echo forever. Whether it's fact or fiction, the idea that Elvis recorded this tribute adds a layer of poignancy that is almost unbearable. It transforms a pretty ballad into a profound statement about life, loss, and the hope of healing. It connects his global fame to his humble, tragic beginnings. It reminds us that behind the jumpsuits and the gold records, there was a human heart. A heart that was, in some ways, broken from the very start. And a heart that through his music, he shared with the world. He gave us his joy, his energy, and sometimes, if you listen closely enough, he gave us his deepest sorrows. Listen to the song again. Close your eyes. Forget about the movies. Forget about Las Vegas. Just hear the voice. A young man singing softly about letting go of the blues, about finding a new world, about a new me and a new you, and ask yourself who he's really singing to. The answer you find might just be the one that feels most true. It's a testament to his artistry that a song can hold so many meanings at once. It can be a simple goodbye to a lover and at the same time a quiet, eternal hello to a brother. And the name of that song, the one that carries all this weight and all this wonder, is Starting Today.